Hey, it's Renly. Today, let's talk about the history of Filipino psychology. When the Philippines was colonized by Spain and in the USA, academic psychology, or the psychology taught in schools, was predominantly Western in theory and in methodology. Filipinos expressed dissatisfaction at the interpretation of Filipino behaviors by Western observers. This continued as Filipinos struggled to assert their national and cultural identity. In the 1960s, many Filipino intellectuals and scholars were already sensitive both to the inadequacy as well as the unfairness of the Western-oriented approaches to psychology. For instance, in the area of personality, the Western approach in research of not being diminished by the culture being studied has resulted in a characterization of the Filipino from the judgmental and impressionistic point of view of the colonizers. However, there was no concerted effort in the 1960s to reject and correct the traditional way of teaching and studying psychology. It was in the early 1970s that this was initiated when Virgilio Gaspar Enriquez returned to the Philippines with a PhD in social psychology and lost no time in introducing the concept of Psikolohiyang Pilipino. Together with then, Chairman of the Department of Psychology at the University of the Philippines, Dr. Alfredo Villagmay, Enriquez embarked on a research into the historical and cultural roots of Philippine psychology. The research included identifying indigenous concepts and approaches in Philippine psychology and developing creativity and inventiveness among Filipinos. From these researches, a two-volume bibliography on Filipino psychology and the locally developed personality test, Panukat ng Ugali at Pagkatao, were produced. In 1975, Enriquez chaired the unang pambansang komperensya sa Psikolohiyang Pilipino, which was held at the Abelardo Auditorium at UP. In this conference, the ideas, concepts, and formulations of Psikolohiyang Pilipino were formally articulated.